In the last episode, I finally uncovered the shocking secrets hidden beneath the surface of our seemingly utopian society. The so-called era of unity was a lie, a carefully constructed illusion to keep us blind to the sinister forces manipulating our world. I learned that the ruling elite, the Council of Unity, had been using advanced technology to control people's minds, suppressing any dissent or free thought. But I'm not just anyone. I'm Arya, the girl who refuses to be silenced. I stood at the edge of the cliff, the wind whipping my hair into a frenzy as I gazed out at the city I once called home. The once bright skyscrapers now loomed like sentinels, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch and twist in the fading light of day. I felt the weight of my discovery like a cold, hard stone in the pit of my stomach. How could they do this to us? To me? I thought back to the day my parents disappeared, the day my life was forever changed. The council had told me they were heroes, that they died fighting for our unity. But now I knew the truth. They were killed for speaking out against the council's tyranny. A chill ran down my spine as I realized I was being watched. I spun around, but there was no one there. The wind rustled through the trees and the shadows seemed to shift as if alive. I knew I had to get out of there to find allies who would help me bring down the council. But where could I turn? The authorities were against me and my friends had been brainwashed into obedience. Suddenly, a faint humming noise echoed through the air. I felt a shiver run down my spine as a sleek, silver aircraft emerged from the darkness, hovering above the trees. The side door slid open and a figure beckoned me inside. Who was this mysterious benefactor and what did they want from me? I hesitated, but something about the intensity in their eyes made me take a step forward. "I'm coming," I whispered, my heart pounding in my chest. As I ducked into the aircraft, the door slammed shut behind me and we lifted off into the night sky. I was leaving my old life behind, hurtling toward a destiny that would change the course of history. "What's your name?" I asked, turning to the stranger. "Lyra," they replied, their voice low and husky. "And I'm here to help you take down the council." I nodded, a spark of determination igniting within me. Together, we would uncover the truth and bring justice to our world. But little did I know, Lyra was hiding secrets of her own, secrets that would threaten to destroy everything I fought for. The aircraft soared through the darkness, leaving the city lights behind. I gazed out the window, the stars twinkling like diamonds in the vast expanse of night. I felt a sense of freedom, of limitless possibility for the first time in my life. But I knew it was an illusion. In this world, freedom came at a steep price, and I was about to pay the ultimate cost. As we flew over the desolate landscape, Lyra's eyes remained fixed on the horizon, her jaw set in a determined line. I sensed a depth of emotion beneath her calm exterior, a fire that burned brighter with every passing moment. "Where are we headed?" I asked, trying to break the silence. "A place of safety," Lyra replied, her voice still husky but laced with an undercurrent of warning. "For now, it's best if you don't know too much." I nodded, accepting the secrecy, at least for the time being. The hum of the engine and the rush of the wind created a soothing background noise, lulling me into a state of tentative relaxation. As the stars wheeled above, I caught glimpses of sprawling ruins below crumbling cities, abandoned factories, and skeletal remains of what once were mighty structures. The devastation stretched as far as the eye could see, a bleak testament to the Council's stranglehold on our world. The aircraft began its descent, and Lyra's attention snapped back to the controls. We landed with a gentle thud on the outskirts of a small, secluded settlement. The buildings were makeshift, cobbled together from scavenged materials, but they exuded a sense of community, of people living on the fringes of society. Lyra led me through the winding streets past curious glances and whispered conversations. We reached a squat, armored door which slid open with a hiss, revealing a dimly lit room filled with makeshift workstations, humming machinery and an assortment of eclectic equipment. A figure emerged from the shadows, eyes gleaming with a fierce intensity. "Welcome, Arya," they said, their voice like rough velvet. "I'm Aaron. We've been expecting you." I felt a shiver run down my spine as Lyra moved to stand beside Aaron, their eyes locked in a silent understanding. There was more to this pair than met the eye, but I pushed the thought aside, focusing on the task at hand. Aaron handed me a small, sleek device that looked like a cross between a comms unit and a hacking tool. "This is a secure link," they explained. "It'll help you stay one step ahead of the Council's surveillance, but be warned, it's not foolproof. You need to be careful, Area." I took the device, feeling a surge of determination. This was the first step in taking down the Council, in uncovering the truth. As I turned to leave, Lyra caught my arm, her grip firm. "Remember, Area, in this world, allegiances are forged and broken with every breath. Trust no one, not even those who claim to be your allies." I looked into her eyes, searching for a glimmer of deception, but found only a fierce sincerity. For now, I had no choice but to trust Lyra, to trust Aaron, and to trust the mysterious underground that had taken me under their wing. But as I turned to face the shadows, I couldn't shake the feeling that Lyra's warning was more than just a caution. It was a prophecy, a harbinger of the dangers that lurked in the darkness. Waiting to strike, the silence between Lyra and me was palpable, each of us lost in our own thoughts as the aircraft pierced through the night sky. I couldn't help but wonder what drove this mysterious ally to join forces with me. What secrets lay hidden behind those piercing green eyes? As the minutes ticked by, Lyra's gaze remained fixed on the navigation console, their hands moving with precision over the controls. I noticed a tattoo on their wrist, a symbol that looked eerily similar to the one my parents had etched on their belongings. "Lyra," I said, my voice barely above a whisper, "what's that symbol on your wrist?" They hesitated, a flicker of unease crossing their face before they regained composure. "It's a mark of resistance," they replied, their tone measured. "From the old days before the Council took control." I felt a shiver run down my spine. My parents had been part of the resistance, and now Lyra, this enigmatic stranger, wore the same symbol. "What do you know about my parents?" I asked, my heart pounding in my chest. Lyra's gaze darted toward me, a hint of something unreadable in their eyes. "I know they were brave," they said, their voice low. "I know they fought against the Council's tyranny, and I know they died for their cause." I felt a lump form in my throat as Lyra's words struck a chord within me. This was the first time someone had acknowledged the truth, had acknowledged my parents' bravery. The aircraft hit turbulence, and Lyra's hands moved swiftly to adjust the controls. As the plane stabilized, I noticed we were descending, the landscape below transitioning from open skies to dense forests. "Where are we going?" I asked, my curiosity piqued. Lyra's eyes locked onto mine, a hint of determination burning within them. "We're going to the hideout of the last remaining resistance cell," they replied, their voice firm. "The people who can help us take down the Council once and for all." As the aircraft landed in a clearing, I felt a rush of adrenaline coursing through my veins. I was one step closer to uncovering the truth, to avenging my parents' death. But as we stepped out into the darkness, I couldn't shake the feeling that Lyra was hiding something from me, something that could change the course of our mission and my life forever. The trees towered above us, their branches creaking in the wind as Lyra led me toward the heart of the resistance. I walked beside them, my senses on high alert, my heart pounding in my chest. Who were these rebels? What secrets lay hidden within their ranks? And how far would I have to go to trust Lyra, this enigmatic ally who held the key to our success or failure? As we pushed through the underbrush, the sounds of the forest grew louder, and I sensed we were being watched. I drew a deep breath, my hand instinctively reaching for the small knife hidden within my belt. I was ready to face whatever lay ahead, ready to fight for the truth and for justice. But I knew that in this world the line between friend and foe was blurred, and the only constant was deception. As we flew over the countryside, the landscape unfolding like a dark tapestry, Lyra handed me a small device that looked like a cross between a smartphone and a wristwatch. "What is this?" I asked, frowning. "A secure comms device," Lyra replied, their eyes fixed on the horizon. "It's untraceable, encrypted, and connected to a network of sympathizers who want to see the council brought down. I strapped the device to my wrist, feeling a surge of hope. Maybe, just maybe, I wasn't alone in this fight after all. Lyra leaned forward, their voice taking on a conspiratorial tone. "I've been watching you, Arya. I know about your parents, about the questions you've been asking. You have potential to be a game changer." Potential? What did that even mean? "What do you want from me, Lyra?" I asked, my guard still up. Lyra's gaze locked onto mine, their eyes burning with an intensity that made my skin prickle. "I want to help you expose the truth, but we need to get to the archives before the council does." The archives. I'd heard whispers of a secret repository of information hidden away from prying eyes. Rumors said it contained evidence of the council's manipulation, of their crimes against humanity. "How do we get in?" I asked, my heart racing. Lyra smiled, a cold, calculating smile. "I have a plan, but we need to move fast. The council is closing in on us and we don't have much time." As if on cue, the aircraft's instruments began to beep and flash and Lyra's eyes darted toward the cockpit. "What's wrong?" I asked, alarm creeping into my voice. "We've got company," Lyra muttered, their face set in a grim mask. "Hold on, Arya. This is going to get bumpy." The aircraft lurched, throwing me against the seat as Lyra expertly navigated the skies. I gripped the armrests, my stomach knotting with fear. Who was chasing us? And how did Lyra plan to get us out of this alive? As the aircraft banked and turned, I caught a glimpse of pursuers' sleek black jets closing in on us like predators. My heart pounded in my chest, and I knew we were running out of time. Suddenly, Lyra's device beeped, and a message flashed on the screen. "What is it?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Lyra's eyes flicked toward me, a hint of concern etched on their face. "It's a warning from our allies. The council has set a trap for us. We need to change course now." But it was too late. The black jets were closing in, their cannons blazing with deadly precision. I felt the aircraft shudder, the engine sputtering as we took a direct hit. In that moment, I knew we were out of time, and I was staring death straight in the face as we flew over the vast expanse of wilderness, the stars above twinkling like a celestial map. Lyra's eyes remained fixed on the control panel, her hands moving with precision over the buttons and levers. I watched her, mesmerized by the way her fingers danced across the console, her movements a symphony of control and power. "Where are we going?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper, the wind rushing past us like a living entity. Lyra's gaze flickered to me, her eyes a piercing green in the dim light of the aircraft. "Somewhere safe," she replied, her voice low and husky, sending a shiver down my spine. I nodded, my mind racing with questions, but Lyra's enigmatic smile deterred me from pressing further. Instead, I turned back to the window, the darkness outside a vast and endless sea. As we flew, the landscape beneath us changed, the wilderness giving way to rolling hills and then eventually to the outskirts of a city. Lyra's hands moved with increased urgency, the aircraft banking sharply to the left, throwing me against the seat. "We're being followed," Lyra muttered, her eyes darting between the control panel and the rearview screen. I spun around, my heart racing, but there was nothing behind us, only the darkness of the night sky. "Who is it?" I asked, my voice tight with fear. Lyra's jaw clenched, her eyes flashing with anger. "The council's enforcers," she spat. "They must have tracked us." The aircraft lurched violently, throwing me against the seat once more. Lyra's hands moved with lightning speed, the engines roaring to life as we hurtled toward the city. We burst through the clouds, the city lights blinding me as we skidded across the rooftops. Lyra's skills were impressive, but I knew we couldn't outrun the enforcers forever. Suddenly, the aircraft dropped, plummeting toward the streets below. I screamed, my stomach lurching into my throat as Lyra's voice cut through the din. "Hold on." We leveled out mere feet above the pavement, the enforcers closing in from all sides. Lyra's hands moved with precision, the aircraft dodging and weaving through the city streets. I held my breath, my heart pounding in my chest as we narrowly avoided collision after collision. Lyra's skills were incredible, but I knew we couldn't keep this up for much longer. Just as I thought we were going to crash, Lyra yanked the aircraft hard to the right, throwing me against the door. We burst through a narrow alleyway, the enforcers mere seconds behind. As we emerged into the bright lights of the city, Lyra's eyes locked onto mine, a fierce determination burning in their depths. "We're almost there," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the roar of the engines. I nodded, my heart still racing from the close call. I had no idea where we were going, but I knew I had to trust Lyra. She was my only hope of survival. The aircraft banked sharply to the left, throwing me against the seat once more. As we hurtled toward our destination, I could feel the darkness closing in around us, the enforcers hot on our heels. But I was ready. I was Arya, the girl who refused to be silenced. And with Lyra by my side, I knew we could take down the council and bring justice to our world. At least that's what I thought until we landed and I saw the imposing structure looming before us. A structure that would change everything I thought I knew about Lyra and about myself. As we flew over the city, Lyra handed me a small, intricately carved box. "What's this?" I asked, my fingers tracing the strange symbols etched into the surface. "A gift," Lyra replied, their eyes never leaving mine. "A token of our alliance." I opened the box, and a faint hum filled the air. Inside, I found a silver pendant shaped like a wing with a small crystal at its center. It glowed softly as if alive. "It's beautiful," I whispered, feeling an inexplicable connection to the pendant. "Put it on," Lyra urged, their voice low and mysterious. I hesitated, but something about the pendant drew me in. I slipped it around my neck, and as soon as the metal touched my skin, a strange energy coursed through me. I felt strong, invincible. "What does it do?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "It will protect you," Lyra replied, their eyes gleaming with an intensity I didn't understand. "From the Council's mind control, from their surveillance. You'll be free to move undetected, to uncover the truth without fear of being caught." I felt a surge of hope, but a nagging doubt lingered. Why would Lyra, a stranger, give me such a powerful gift? What did they want in return? As I looked at Lyra, I saw something in their eyes, a glint of secrets and hidden motives. I pushed the thoughts aside, focusing on the mission ahead. "Where are we going?" I asked, gazing out the window as the city gave way to rolling hills and dense forests. "We're heading to the Resistance base," Lyra replied, their voice firm. "The people who will help us take down the Council." I felt a thrill of excitement mixed with a dash of fear. What lay ahead? Who was this Lyra really? And what secrets were they hiding? As the aircraft dove into the darkness, I steeled myself for the unknown. I was Arya, the girl who refused to be silenced, and I was ready to fight.